Hello and welcome. This is Lino Tadros, and in this video I'll show you one way of creating widgets in Sitefinity, especially MVC widgets, using the CLI instead of using the visual way in the VSIX in Visual Studio. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my face already, and we'll do here. You hopefully can see my Solution Explorer in Visual Studio under MVC in here. If you've seen the video, it's in the library that you can take a look at how to install the VSIX. We call it the Sitefinity V6, which is a plugin to Visual Studio. And we'll show you how to right-click on the Sitefinity project name and go say add, go to Sitefinity at the bottom, click on widget, and that will be the visual way. Just give it a name and it will create everything for you. Some people like to do it this way. I'm also going to show you how to do it with the command line, which I use a lot, especially when you would like to create this in a CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment as well, in Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions or Jenkins or something like that. That might be even more interesting than doing it visually. The whole idea here, my new widget needs to go under the MVC folder. I would create the controller in the controllers folder, the model under the models folder, and the views will have a brand new folder with the name of the component or the controller, and then it will have all the different Razor syntax, CS, HTML files inside of there. So let's go ahead and get started and see how we can do that. First of all, you probably can see in another video in the library how to install the CLI for Sitefinity from GitHub. It's open source. I'm going to bring in the command line in here just to make sure that I have it running and configured correctly as far as the system variable. Just put SF for Sitefinity and push enter. And if you get what you see on the screen, that means SF is running correctly. But I need to not be in the user's Lino here. I need to be in the correct directory to be able to do that. So best way in Visual Studio is to right click on the name of the project and say open the folder in File Explorer, for instance. And that will open it up, and this is where I need to go. See user Lino source repos SF143. Let's go ahead and copy that to the clipboard. I'm going to bring back in here. We'll say CD, and we'll do that. And now I'm in the correct folder. Because if you're not inside of a Sitefinity project, the SF Sitefinity CLI will not work. You have to be in a real Sitefinity project for this to work. All right. So as you can see from above here, there are a couple of commands, 3 of them actually: add, config, and upgrade. Right now I'd like to add, so I'm going to say SF add. And if I don't know what to do after that, you can go ahead and put a dash question mark or dash help, and it will show you all the different commands that come after SF add. So it means I can add a grid widget, a module, a package, page template, tests, or widget. I want the last one. I'd like to create a widget. So let's go back and say SF add widget. And in this time, I can actually go ahead and give it a name. So I'm going to call it, for instance, in double quotes in here, what do we call it? We're going to call it the CLI-based widget, okay? Oops, not all capital. We're not trying to yell at it. There you go. So if I push enter right now, and it will find out that I'm inside of a project that is specifically to Sitefinity, it will succeed, and I should be able to have all the files created for me automatically. It's going to give me another chance if I do not want to use a CLI-based widget. If I push enter, that will be the default. That is the name that I'm passing. Or I can put a brand new name if I want to in here as well. I'm just going to push enter, and voila, all the different files and folders needed for this will work right away. Excellent. How do I make sure that this is correct? Let's go back to Visual Studio. It will find out that there is new files got added. So let's go ahead and reload all. Now if I go back to controller, notice there is a new one called CLI-based widget controller. And also under model, I will have a CLI-based widget model. And if I go down a little bit to views, notice there will be a CLI-based widget. And inside of it, there will be the Razor syntax file, CS, HTML, for the view for that specific, the default view for that specific control, okay? If I open up the CLI-based widget, you will notice also it's descending from the correct class and interface for controller and iPersonable. The registration is happening with the name, title, and the section name if you'd like to install it under. And the same regular hello world, just one message here as a property of type string, just to get you going, exactly like what the VSIX does for you as well. All right, so this is just to show you how the CLI works and how you can actually get really fast, really quickly, not only for widgets, but for a lot of other things, templates, grid systems, tests and so on. Makes life much easier as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again in a new video of Sitefinity soon. Thank you.